Once upon a time, in a small kingdom of tiny cottages, babbling brooks, and rolling hills, lived a little witch. A middle-sized wolf, an absolutely enormous giant. His awesome footsteps echoed like thunder throughout the land. Beep, bop, bop, bum. Will Nimblejack escape from the giant's castle? Find out in this story of wolves, witches, and giants called Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time, a poor widow lived with her idle son Jack in a tiny cottage. Their one possession of any value was their cow, Daisy, who was beginning to look her age. Consequently, the amount of milk that young Jack took to market each day grew less and less. "Hardly enough milk for me cup of tea. You'd better take Daisy to the market," she said. So Jack set off, leading poor old Daisy by a piece of old rope. On the way to market, they met a strange little man who asked Jack what he was doing. "I'm going to market to sell Daisy." "I'll give you 5 beans for her." 5 rotten beans for 1 rotten cow," said Jack angrily. "Arr, but em ain't ordinary beans. Em's magic beans. If you plant the beans overnight time, by morning em's reaching up to the sky." "Right up to the sky?" inquired Twit Jack. 2 seconds later, Jack was clutching his 5 beans, and a pretty disgruntled cow was being led away, marveling at the value of things these days. When Jack reached home, his mother asked him how much he'd got for Daisy. "I got 5 magic beans." "5 magic beans, you stupid scatterbrained twit!" She took Jack by the collar and sent him to bed without any supper, and threw the beans out of the window. Early next morning, Jack awoke, but there was something strange about his room. The sun didn't seem to shine through the window. Jack rushed downstairs and, to his delight, saw that the 5 magic beans had indeed grown into a huge plant stretching up to the clouds above. "I'm going to climb right to the top and see where it leads to." Far away, across the sky, he saw a huge castle sitting on top of a rain cloud. Below the rain cloud he saw England, and remembered it was summer. Jack hopped from cloud to cloud and eventually reached the castle. Standing on tiptoe, he knocked on the door. The door was opened by a very tall, thin lady. "Good morning. Could you spare me some porridge for breakfast? You see, I didn't really have..." "Breakfast?" boomed the tall lady. "My husband is the giant, and for his breakfast he likes little boys between 2 slices of toast." However, she took pity on Jack. She was quite kind, really, apart from eating people, so gave him a steaming bowl of porridge. But hardly had Jack taken a spoonful when a fearful rumbling shook the castle. "Quick! The giant is coming, and I must hide you somewhere, or he'll eat you all up." She bundled Jack into an oven, and Jack peered through the grill just as the giant entered the kitchen. "Ah, get my breakfast, woman," he said. And suddenly the giant stopped dead in his tracks and started sniffing the air with enormous sniffs. "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." "Rubbish," said his wife. "Those are only the 2 sheep you ate yesterday. I'm boiling up their bones for soup." The giant seemed satisfied, and after breakfast, in true giant fashion, decided to count up his money. 1, 2, and that was it. Bored with counting his money, the giant started to feel sleepy. "Fetch me my golden harp." "Play," commanded the giant, and play it did, a magical lullaby. "Now get my magic hen." "Lay," he shouted, and lay she did. A wonderful golden egg, then another, then another. Quite bored with his wealth, the giant was soon asleep, and as his wife tippy-toed out, Jack quietly pushed open the oven door. Very softly he approached the table and grabbed the chicken round the neck and dashed towards the door. The screeching chicken woke up the giant. "Oh, beep, fi, fo, fum. I definitely smell the blood of an Englishman and a chicken." Jack ran for all he was worth, which was only a half-strangled chicken at the moment. Close behind him came the giant. "Fetch an axe!" yelled Jack to his mother as he came within sight of the bottom of the beanstalk. Jack's mother grabbed an axe. "Not yet, you old fool!" shouted Jack disrespectfully as he slid the final few meters to the ground. "No, you can chop," said Jack, and chop she did, until at last the stalk gave away, and with a fearful howl, the giant came crashing to earth, narrowly avoiding a cottage owned by a simpleton called Jack and his mother. Legend has it that the giant fell through the massive crater and came out the other side of the world. "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Australian." Meanwhile, Jack and his mother waited in vain for the magic hen to lay its first golden egg. It never laid a single one and was in the pot by Sunday, and Jack with his mother continued to live in reduced circumstances for the rest of their lives. You'll be hearing from my solicitor